Right, evening all. We've got four speakers tonight: Nick Bray, Paul Westwood, Dave Goodwin, and Colin Stokes. And for next week, we've got Jeffrey. Jacko is a new one, and Andy Wright, he's a new one. That's what we like to see. Spread what you do. Educate the troops. 266 photos tonight, so we've got to get through them. Right, first photo there, as you can see, is a night vision camera. I've got 3 of these now for myself on the plot. But I went on online looking for something 2 days ago, obviously gardening wise. And when you Google something and you get all your little bits on the top of the page.
This meeting is being recorded.
Can you mute yourselves, please?
I'm trying.
This came up on the top. Well, not this itself, but you'll see it on the next page. The link which come up, and I joined it just to see what they'd got. And there's quite a few good things on. I mean, this is a good price. The postage, I think it's about £7 you got to add on to that. But that's the cheapest I've ever seen one of these night vision cameras. But that's worth it for that price. And the link, which is that, go groupie, just have a nose on it, and there's loads of stuff for gardeners. I think they click on what you're looking at. I.e., for me, I was going for anything gardening wise, and then they send you the links by email, everything to do with gardening. But it's worth a nose. If you ain't interested, then don't bother. Right, someone asked us during the week about dahlia feed. In fact, it was somebody won the worm wheel last week, and asked him if he wanted any liquid fish. And he started growing dahlias. He says, "What do you feed him?" So I got this off the net and sent that to him. Plus, I'm going to send him me liquid feed anyway, just as an addition to that. Future people, this was out the Sun newspaper during the week, so it's got to be true. Has anybody heard of this disease yet that's going around? Any future people on our side? Look, there's always
I've heard of it.
something.
I've heard of it before.
Oh yeah.
Gall mite is prevalent, particularly down the south of the country, but it's gradually spreading up.
Yeah.
And once you get it, it's best to bin. You can cut back and clean it all, but it doesn't come back the year. It might come back the following year, the plant that is. But most people, I think they throw the plant away.
Yeah. Cheers for that, Colin. Right, I'm on obviously on the internet, on Facebook. I'm quite a few composting sites, worm farming, whatever, and this is one that I'm on. Now, Raunch on the top there, you can see his name. He's from Louisiana in the States, and Tracy, she is also from the States, Arizona. So obviously the group's in the States, and I'm quite into them as well. But somebody put Raunch, he put a link on about his leaf mold, and obviously my little comment there, brilliant. And then Facebook, great looking stuff and great process, I'm thinking. Then Raunch. Stacey, Mick, this is what it looks like today. Temperature good and worm population is where I want it. Thanks for the kind words. It means a lot coming from you two. Meaning he's learned a lot of us too, which is always good to see. So we're educating the States and they're educating me. Right, all my shallots at the top of the plot, which got up, my pickling shallots, as you can see they've dried off now. There's no green on the skins. These are still in because they're still standing up and they've still got green on their skins. That's the shallot ring I use. That is 30mm. So these lot have got to go through there. This is for our show, don't forget. this is playing up tonight. When we have loopy weather, it's the same as the radio downstairs, that bloody plays up as well. I'm pressing this and it's miles behind. Right, let's try again. So I'm going through all these that I've dried off. These are the pickling shallots to see if they go through the ring. That one's oversized. A shallot has got to pass through the ring on its own weight. You haven't got to force it through. That one's gone through. And he's got half a skin on the other side, so when that gets pulled off, so it'll be a nice one. What I'm looking for is, well, whatever the schedule says, might be 6 pickling shallots or 12, how many you've got to exhibit, or might be in other classes with 2. So that's what I'm trialing with them. Although they've dried off, and when they did get them up, that was nice and solid. There's always a couple who go haywire, and this one was soft as a badger's tadger, so he went straight in the bin. So out of them lot at the back, these lot here, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Out of that lot, I've got 11 that's gone through the ring, so we'll see how they dry off later on. Right, exhibition shallots. This was the longest day, time to get them up, which was last week. And fork straight underneath, lift the lot up. Don't forget I thinned these down to 2s because I want a large exhibition shallot. Lift them up together. I've then got to separate them, which I have done there. Just take the loose soil off the bottom with my fingers. This is the next bed next to it. I think I had 2 lots in there with the large shallots. They got lifted as well. So all the large shallots separated and put singly under there. Don't forget this is undercover, meaning if it does rain, no rain is going to get in here. But I've got air movement, which is good, which is what I want to dry everything off. That's what I'm, decent size, good shape. Everybody's in the same boat. Right, this bed I'm going to use again because I had some spare onion sets. I had 2 trays. If you want to be made, you have, and I had this. Obviously, this one get back myself. So now this bed is empty. I can plant them out. Still not too late to plant sets out. And these were from Wilco was flogging off their onion sets cheap because they wanted to get them out of the way. Because they started sprouting in the nets. Still get them. Still ain't too late to plant off. Obviously I've started them off in drinking cups, as you can see. So these are spaced out, sitting there aiming on getting. All I've done on the top of the raised bed is scrape back the straw because I'm going to use that again. Whole bit of mycorrhizal fungi under his arris as normal. Help him out. Once that side's planted out, then I'll go to the other side as well. Come on, good, bend it. Right, my split canes and my onion clips. They are going to be ready to hold them up. You don't. You've only just planted these. You don't have to struggle. If you help them out and hold them upright, then all they've got to do is look after the roots, get them going down. There's no energy got to go into trying lifting them leaves upright. Just help them out. Top dress with a straw again, which I'd taken back before. Don't forget this is got muck in as well, so that is a plus. If there's any big dollops of muck, because I'm dry, I'll break them up with my hand. Once the lot's done and top dressed, then they'll have a good soaking. Where am I? Right, pot leeks. I've got 2 lots of pot leeks in my tunnel back of the garden. These 3, they're all the same pot leeks, same strain, but the 3 largest, which are these here, I want these. We've got a class for a super pot leek between 6 and 8 inches in length. So them 3 are for that class, and these are for under 6-inch plants. Them are 3 smaller pot leeks. So we'll have a perv of them. Fan still whizzing away. Solar panel on the top. I've got good aeration, ventilation around the bottom anyway, as you can see the net and the doors netted itself. But it still gets hot in there when the sun does come out still. Right, let's have a look at these chaps. This is the one of the large ones. Taking away the straw. And I'm going to take away the grey medium right down to the roots. And any old flags or leaves, I'll take them off. And, because it's all planted at the same time and whatever. That's cleaned up. Nice white blanch. Nice and straight sides. Don't forget I need 2 out of the 3 for the show. That side's doing well. Now the other side, which earthing back up again. This is t'other side. Ticking these down. Look at him straight away when I took that flag off. The flies got in there. So he's even jobbed him. You can see the chrysalis there. That's where the grub's made his way down and turned into the chrysalis. So I'll job the bugger. There he is. Smashed him with my nail. But because it is a large pot leek, I've done this before. And with now, if I hadn't got him out, he'd have overwintered. He'd have gone proper dog brown and gone solid, a proper shell. Overwintered, and then the fly would have come out early next, well, end of March, April next year. So I've jobbed him. As I mentioned before, with a pot leaf, let's get back on him again. Because they're a good bit of weight on them, bit of meat on them. Once I've got him out, which I have done. Now that flag in another 2 weeks will be an old flag, so he'll come off as well. Hopefully, if there's nothing underneath, I can still get away with showing him. I've done this with blanch leeks before where I've had the fly, but I've still got away with it because there's another 2 months of growing yet. So hopefully I can get away with it that way. But that's me with spraying as well. Father's Day last week, our little got us some tiger beer. This is what we used to have in Singapore. Living nuts. So I brought back a few memories. Nigel, got your hand up, mate.
Nick, you mentioned about trying to hold that leek back for another month or 2. How will you store it?
No, I'm still growing him.
Oh, right. I thought you'd actually took the roots off.
No, I go down to the roots.
Right. Okay. Right. Sorry.
Yeah,
okay. Thank you.
When I take an old flag off, if you just pull it away, there might be a bit, say, 1/2 inch on the bottom of the leek.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got to take the lot off.
Okay.
To get a nice,
clean,
clean base shape of the leek.
Okay.
So
Cheers.
Yeah. Right, tiger beer. When I come out the mob, I bought that one back new from Singapore. So that one is over 15-year-old, and it's still got the beer in there. It ain't been tapped. That's how the bottles have changed over the years. That's the new one. That's another Odin. Soft like that. Our first speaker tonight is Nick Bragg. Nick, I hope you're on.
Yeah, I'm here.
Good man, good man.
Evening. So,
all yours, mate.
Yeah, I've just got an update really on stuff I'm growing. I've got 2 grows going on. I've got one at home, which is more of a gardening, just leisure grow, and then I've got a lot of eating giant veg. Although this year I didn't do so much giant veg because I knew the shows would be cancelled. So I just put a few slides together and I'll show you what I'm growing. So this is 4 giant cabbage going on. I've got 3 Cornish giants there. These pictures were taken a week ago. So they're heading up nicely, feeding them weekly and watering them daily. And they're grown in tyres. And to the far left, upper left, That's a Savoy cabbage, which some different stock I've got. So they're ticking along nicely. And we'll see what happens come September with them. But I'm a sort of about 2 weeks behind last year. So this is the polytunnel, mostly for eating. I've got about 60 tomato plants in here, around about 40 hanging baskets of strawberries. Three long beds. The polytunnel is 18 by 30. You can see my nice chair where I sit down when it's cool enough. So this is a greenhouse that I'm growing some melons and cucumbers in vertically, and then they'll run along the ceiling on nets. Akron tomatoes and some F1, I can't remember, and some onions I've lifted from one of the beds, which you'll see a bit later on. If you notice down in the bottom left-hand corner, I've got water timers on, so I don't have to water any of the beds outside. It's all done automatically each day. When you're at work full-time, it's too time-consuming, so I've set up automatic irrigation with soaker hoses. Next minute. This is so the bottom bed there is a fairly big bed. I'm growing a pumpkin in there, although made a bit of a mistake. I had a pumpkin growing either side, and I managed to snap the main stem on it. But that pumpkin there is it's off Ben White, and I think it was about 580 pounds. I'm a little bit behind, but it's romping away along. And then some beds leading up to the polytunnel. Next, Mick. Some runner beans, sweet peas, and some peas. That's going, they're nearly ready to pick, actually. It was about a week ago I took these pictures. So I do like my sweet peas. I just cut them. The wife quite liked them. Replenish in the house 2 or 3 times a week, so I could just keep cutting those. Okay, Mick. So in that corner, I've got beetroot ready to lift. I normally get 3 to 4 crops a year of beetroot. My favourite vegetables, some nasturtiums going on there. In fact, they were lifted today. I think I picked around 30 to 40. The cylinder, the variety was, it's like a barrel shaped, and they were multi-sown. And I think they were sown in early March. Next, Nick. So these are some blanch leeks going on. Quite pleased with these, to be fair. These have got 21-inch collars on. They're a little bit far advanced for late shows. My show in Taunton and 2 or 3 of the county shows around here have all been cancelled, but they're good leeks. They're getting some meat on them now. Grown in air pots. Difficulty with air pots is there's an advantage with them. They're good for root pruning and growth, but they're difficult to keep watered, so they're watered on a daily basis. And again, I got some nasturtiums in various areas of the polytunnel. I find them quite good against aphids and that type of thing, and black fly, green fly. If you get a problem, they tend to attack the nasturtiums rather than your plants. Next one, Nick. So that's the bed the onions and garlic come out of now. Put in various kohlrabi, cabbage, broccoli, sprouting broccoli, some wongbok cabbage, and they're all netted as well. And some more runner beans this side. Again, Mick. Some garlic hung up. In fact, they're not hung up now. That was hung up about 10 days ago. That's now cut back and drying out. Probably more than what I need, so some will be given away. We don't eat that much garlic, but it's something to put in your beds over winter. These were grown, funny enough, these were grown from some stock I bought off, can't remember now, but it doesn't matter. And then also some old bulbs that I had that I bought from the supermarket, and they've grown, probably outperformed the these are soft neck ones. You can see the ones bent over, so they performed as well as the bought ones. Next one, mate. So that's another sort of view. I've just got various bits in there. I've got rocket, coriander, asparagus a bit further on, some more runner beans. In the middle bed, I've got lots of Swiss chard, which I quite like. I've got carrots, beetroot, parsnips, some flowers going on. A bit of selection of everything, really. and you can see the hoses in the middle, and the next bed, they're all, like I said, automatic. Next, Mick. Some tomatoes. So I've got some tomatoes ripening up now, just right for my wife's birthday next week, which we've got a big barbecue, so that's nice. These are a variety called, don't quote me, Mascaraca, I think. I think they're a Bulgarian variety, very prolific bush variety. That's it. That's the one. Yeah, that's the one. I can't remember. I've grown them for years. I grow quite a few plants for people, and they're hassle-free. Just need watering, bit of fertilizer, and they just keep going and going. Next one, Mick. So there's another bit of a side view of the growing area. Again, with some beetroot, spring onions, Swiss chard, asparagus on the right. I've got 3 beds of asparagus, all in their 3rd year now, coming into their 3rd year. So I should have a good harvest next year. And again, Mick. So onions. So this is grown at home. These 4 here you can see are, that was taken last week. So they've just finished, probably. They're not going to put out any more new growth. They're not a bad size. I think they'll probably make, I don't know, maybe 12, 13 pound onions. Not quite sure. The circumference now is around, today I measured them actually, it's up around 24.5 to 25 inches. These are grown in air pots. These were started in early November time, transplanted into various pots, feeding quite heavy now. Although I'm changing the feed to more of a PK based, because it doesn't need too much nitrogen now. But hopefully these will keep going. There's a lot of fans in there going on, which you can't see. There's also LEDs above them. So I put lights on 2 hours before, as the daylight breaks, and 2 hours just before the sun sets, just to give them an extra boost. Next one, Mick. Made some onions and, like I said, garlic lifted. The onions, I'm not allowed to. I read something on Facebook. You're not allowed to call them Jap onions anymore because it's offensive. But I don't agree with that. So they are Japanese onions, and there's also some Centurion in there as well. So I had a good crop out of those, and those last us for quite some time. And again, Mick. Some chili plants there in the corner of the polytunnel. I didn't really, I used to grow a lot of chili plants, but I just chucked a few seeds in February, March time, and they're coming along now. The one at the front actually is off a very big bell pepper, world record strain bell pepper, which I started fairly late, and I wanted that for September, so that will be potted on again next week. Again, Mick. Courgette plant in the polytunnel. I always put one in there because you get an early crop, and I've been picking a few off that now for a couple of weeks. It's just nice to have, and you can see cucumber plants growing up on netting as well. So I've got 5 or 6 cucumber plants and 3 melons in the main polytunnel as well. Again, Mick. So there's some onions outside. These were the reject onions that I chucked outside beginning of April. So they're not doing too bad, actually. I've only had one go to seed. Got some carrots in there, courgettes, some lettuce, Lolo Loco lettuce. As you can see, it's quite a nice area I grow in. You've got fields all around me, so it is quite picturesque and nice growing space. And again, another picture of the leeks. You can see on the left-hand bed there, I've already dug up I've already been dug up a sowing. Well, a mature batch of beetroot. That was probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Another lot's gone in. And on the right at the back of the bed, there's another load that will be out in 2 or 3 weeks. And you can see the tomato plants growing in quad grows there, which is bush varieties. It's really strange this year. It's funny. The tomatoes at home have come on a lot quicker than the ones in the polytunnel. Lots of flowers, but they're not fruiting or just starting to fruit, which is very late for this year. And again, Mick. There's a little bit of a side view. So I've got on the left there, you can see lots of French beans, Cobra French beans, just coming into flower. In fact, I think another 2 or 3 days I'll be picking. More lettuce that needs picking. Various flowers, some Swiss chard in there. Marigolds just helping out with the pest, and some broccoli there just waiting to go out into the beds. Again. That's just a side view of the area. So straight in front of you there is a fruit cage. I've got gooseberries, blueberries, black currants, red currants, and strawberries in there as well. Again, and just picture the Swiss chards going to seed, so that'll be ripped out, and the lettuce very soon. I'll put in some more French beans to run up those trellises, or nets, I should say. And again, another bit of a side view. So down the bottom is the compost heaps. 3 compost heaps, which I use. Got some good compost off it this year. And you can see, like I said, do like my flowers, cosmos, and then you can see the leeks. I got some Pendle improved leeks just going to seed now. So that'll be some stock for next year for the leeks that it's off the same stocks I'm growing this year. And again, Mick. Some nasturtiums just to helping out. I quite like nasturtiums. Lots of different varieties in there. There's a lot out there now. If you grow nasturtiums, have a look. There's lots and lots of different ones, although some of them have self-seeded in some of the other beds, but they're quite prolific, so I tend to pull the self-seeders out and try and limit them to pots or in the polytunnel. Again, Mick. There's tomato plants again, like I said, just got absolutely mental. Loads of flowers, but just starting to fruit. And they're in self-watering as well. And again, Mick. There's the fruit cage. Like I said, it's nice, keeps the birds away. And lots of fruit again this year. I mulched it and also feeding with maxi crop, so expecting a good crop out of there. Okay, Mick. And that's a picture of me in 2018. I'm not going to beat that this year, but maybe next year I've got some good stock coming. That's it.
Lovely.
Thank you very
Cheers,
much.
Nick.
Thank you.
Any questions for our Nick while we got him?
Nick, Nigel.
Oh, Nigel.
Hello, mate. Just a couple, please. On your water supply with the sow cows, is that mains fed or do you come off a water butt?
No, it's mains fed.
Right, okay. And the other one, the last 2 photographs, the huge clump of tomatoes, you don't bother pinching the side shoots out there, just leave them.
On the bush ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny you should say that, because it was only today that I got the loppers off and took all the growing out of them.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, because otherwise you just go absolutely mental. And in a season as we are,
yeah,
they're just never going to ripen. So I thought today, chop the tops off, and any other sides coming off them will be chopped off as well.
Right, okay. Thank you.
Cheers.
Nick?
Yes?
I just noticed you seem to have a sort of roof over your compost. Are they solar panels or is it just decorative?
No, just decorative.
Oh, right.
Just decorative, yeah. It's just they're getting too wet in the winter, so put a roof over the top, although it has encouraged the rats, but I'm on top of them as well.
Oh, right, okay. Oh. Look like solars.
That's good idea, though. Thanks for that.
Expensive, but yeah.
Nick, I noticed you, with your sweet peas, you were growing them up with your beans at first. Was that to aid the pollination as well of the beans?
No, not really. It's just to utilise the space. So I don't use that. I don't eat that many random beans, to be fair. Although I got about 30 canes growing all together, so lots of people have them. It's just nice to have as one side of it. I put some netting up to grow the sweet peas up through. It just filled the bed up really a bit more. That's all.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nick, how big is your back garden?
My back garden. The pictures I've just shown you.
Yeah.
Not in my garden. That's some land I've got. That's about 4 minutes away from my house. But my back garden is around 80 feet by 30.
That's a nice size.
Yeah, about 80 by 30, I suppose. So yeah, I've got a grow going on at home with some raised beds, 2 greenhouses, one 14.8 and one 8x10. And so it's a bit of a full-time job when you're working as well.
Oh, no, I know the feeling.
Yeah.
Cheers, Nick.
Thank you.
Nick, your bit of land is like a farmer's field, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Nice and flat.
it's a chap I know. He's got a business run there, so I just pay him some rent. It's his garden. It's about. I didn't show you the pictures, but it's also got some orchard and a summer house. It's about a third of an acre.
Perfect.
Cool. Boston.
Yeah, it's good.
Any more questions for Nick?
Lovely, thank you.
Nick, you're a star. Thank you very much.
Good man. Cheers.
Good man. Right, back up the back garden. We've had some storms and rain, winds just lately. Delphiniums here. Worst thing about this, when they get wet, the weight of them, and if you don't tie them, I mean, I thought these had been tied up good, which I'd tied them up again, but the weight of them, they still collapse again. But that's growing, I'm afraid. Spinach started going to seed. Made quite a bit of stuff going to seed. Onion sets. I ain't had that for a while, but it's just our loopy weather. It's a check-in growth, meaning we have had it nice and warm. If you get a cold night, plants ain't got a clue what's going on. I think they're going to die, so they're good to seed. Never had that good to seed before. Right, taking the hound a walk. I was just looking at this, and this is something else which I'm going to mention to my MP who's helping me out, composting wise, to the government. Another ingredient, shredded bark, from my compost ingredient. Notice that one while I was taking the hound for a walk, so I'm going to write that down as well. Right, I mentioned before about the wenches piddling on your lawn. Well, bitches, dogs wise.
Yeah.
They leave a yellow mark. This one of the places we take the dog for a walk. There's obviously football pitches here. There's loads of green, and there's loads of dog walkers up there, and you never see any yellow patches on any of their ground. That's weird. Right. If you remember earlier on, my gladiola, they were in tubs. You'll see them in a bit anyway. I did a trial with top dressing them, vermiculite, straw and whatever. And now I've got a new one. With the lumps that are in here, now I've finished with this raised bed for my shallots. The lumps of manure, I'm just rubbing that out with my hands. Meaning it's not just straw, which I've trialled. It is the small bits of manure. So that's another one. Because when I did if I remember from last week, when I planted out my chilies, 2 in clover, 1 in my own compost. Now also to stop these drying out, so I've just rubbed out that lot down there, and I'm going to top dress these 3 with that what I've just rubbed out. Meaning it is, as you can see there, it's a feed as well, because it's manure. So when you start watering, obviously that's going to get nice and moist and feeded. So you can see the back lot, they had nothing on, and then the next row is vermiculite and then straw. But when the straw dried out, these were struggling. They still come through. I was struggling to get through that compact, well not compact, but it was not, it was more solid. This stuff will be better, because obviously it's smaller pieces. So that'll be my top dressing for next year. Plus it's free. So I've top dressed all the chilies. Next thing I'm going to do is give it a good soaking. Well, there's only the door and the automatic vents, which shouldn't blow off anyway. But that'll sort my chilies out there. So that's them 3 done. I've still got them 2 to look after. Right, Tom's in the greenhouse. If you can see that bit there, I don't walking past him. Let's have a close up of the little chap. He don't look very well. Something's got to him, or something's happened. So all I do is cut that bad bit off with a bit of scissors. Because the rest of it, I see better there. Looks a bit limp. There's nothing under him, no aphids or nothing. So God knows. But I'll just cut him off there with the scissors. help the plant out, and he went straight in the bin. Back of the garden, so this is my trellis, and I got the greenhouse this side. These are my red currants. There's the hounds trying to nick, and they're just coming into fruit now. And I've been back down the plot this afternoon to have a quick half hour in my top orchard, and most of the trees and bushes, they are loaded with fruit. They haven't been like this for 4 or 5 years, so it should be a good year for me fruit wise. And obviously with the dry weather as well, every chance I get I'm going to water all the blueberries which are buried in pots. Next Gladys 4 beds. A couple of these were leaning over, as you can see that one there. Obviously the wind and the dry weather, if they've had a good soaking and they're established, then they should hold themselves up. But if it does go dry and a bit of weight on the top with the wind, same as anything else, then it's going to topple them over, like that one there in the middle. So all I do is I persuade them to stand upright, just slowly earthing them up upright, and that does help them out, because I don't really want to put a cane around these until I've got a flower on. There we are. Most of them standing upright again. Job done. Right, me one sweet corn, and my beans have just started to reach the top of the canes, and I've got one bean on. Paul, our next speaker.
I love the picture, Mick.
You're ready, Cock?
I'm ready, Cock.
We come on to that.
Inside.
All yours, Paul.
All right, this is one we rhododendron. This is one we rhododendrons when there was flowering. I had some beauties. I used rock dust on them, and the better blooms this year. And the bees were just swarming them. And I got the camera close as possible on that one. And that's some of my chilies in my tunnel. That is peach scorpion, just coming to flowers. If you can zoom in, there's some flowers on them. And I've been feeding with. There you go. Yeah, there's flowers on. Maxi cup, liquid fish. I've been using a Fox Farm hydroponics feed, and they've done since I've been feeding them. They've gone mad. Next one, Mick. That is I bought it last year. It's called Tana Perexa. T-Rex is short name for. It's a tropical plant. The leaves will go 4 foot in wide eventually. The beautiful plant. 40 quid off Facebook. I paid for that last year.
Good.
Next one, Mick.
This is your back garden now, isn't it?
Yes, from back garden now. All back garden. Next one, Mick. And them are 6, 7 Armageddon chilies I had. I've been feeding them. They was only tiny. They've really come on with that feed I've been using. Fox Farm. Big Grow is called. Next one, Mick. And I will update you later on when I've got more pictures. That's a lovely begonia in the back garden. Next one, Mick. And that is a lemon drop. One of my chilies. Mick's tried a lemon drop, have you, Mick?
Yeah, good favourite.
Yeah, lovely flavour. It got a lot of heat. And that's my favourite rhododendron and all. The colour's beautiful on that. I've had that, about 9 years. And this one is, oh God, one of my chilies. Can't remember which one it is.
Looks like a
Is it in a frame?
naughty boy. Say Peter Pepper, is it?
No. It's around a green frame, so it's going to be a Reaper, I think.
Uh,
I think that's a Reaper, that one is. I'm sure that's a Reaper. That's my banana. I've got bananas as well. I love growing them. I've got, how many altogether? 1, 3, 4. I've got 7 altogether, bananas. Ranging between colour and size. Red ones, dwarf ones, and that one is Musa Baggio. It's the biggest one you can get. It'll grow. Just since took that, it's grown a new leaf in a week, and the leaf is what about 1.5 foot wide by 3 foot tall. One leaf, and the bigger it goes during the summer, they get bigger. That's another chili plant. Got some flowers on, and I've tried a new method this year. Put them in pots in the polytunnel, dug holes, put the pots into the compost, into the ground. I want to try that. That seems to be doing a lot better. They are so bushy and tall, and then producing more flowers. So anything worth a try.
Yep.
That was an idea Nick said to me. This is Thumbelina, and my missus loves the black petunias. I don't know why, but them love the black petunias. You got 6
Like a velvet.
Yeah, it's called black petunia. It's called. It's lovely. Bundles of flowers on it.
It's a nice one.
This is it. Plugs to plants, probably. I've been feeding them well. Hopefully they'll be bigger by the end of the year. That's the one with chilies. That's scorpion. That's the peach scorpion. The buds are right in the bottom. They're coming on well. I will do some updates when they start to come into fruit. And that is my favourite. My dad used to call it a funeral lily. So they used to have the lilies for funerals. The Greek name is Ginza zebra. I can't pronounce it, so I'm not going to bother. It's like a cigarette end at the end. The plant is up the corner about years. It dies in the frost, comes back every spring. And the one year I had 25 flowers on it. It's a beaut. Next picture, Mick. And then it's been with French. I did some late French beans. I've got logged doing on my life at the moment, so they're going to go in. And they've got bigger since I late sowing the French beans. Some more chilies. That's my tunnel bottom of the garden. Next one, Mick. That is from Little Special. Pink diacetyns. Lovely. That's the toppling patio. That's another one of my chilies. I think that's a Dorset Naga. Dorset Naga orange one I got feedback from Spain. I don't think they'd come, but they did. Seeds, and that was the first one to germinate. And that's my Dwarf Banana. It grows about 2 foot, if that. It's the texture on the leaves and the colour I like on that. That was a Little Special as well, £2.50.
Yeah.
Yeah, £2.50. Got to wait a few years for good bananas on that. And that's another Dorset Naga, orange. It's an orange one, so I'm going to try that this year. I mean, you're going to try that at the club, at the show. 1 million, that is, on the scale.
Gordon Bennett.
Yeah, that is me Formium. I've took that picture now, but the next picture, I forgot it. It's just coming out in flower now. Like the stem, it only flowers every 2 years. But when the flowers come out, they're beautiful. And like little birds. And there's 4 in it at the moment. That's a beauty, that one. There's me tunnel at the corner.
They got these up at Stevens Park.
Yeah, they're beauty.
Yeah.
They're beauty. Takes some years to flower.
Yeah, I'm not open yet.
No, not yet. They just start to come up. And when I do, I'll send you some pictures.
Oh.
And there you go, look, some more flowers and buds. Loads of buds on it. Another one of my chilies. And I've got 55 plants in that tunnel bottom of the garden. And there's a plant, look, at the corner, the lily.
Nice.
It's a beaut. My dad hated it, but I loved it. He called it a funeral lily. and they used to have funerals, the lilies out of them. And they used to charge, I think there was about £2 a flower then. God knows how much they're worth now.
That's an arum lily.
Arum. It's not an arum, it begins with a Z.
Xanthodesia.
That's the one.
That's the arum lily is a common name.
Yeah, it begins with a Z.
Xanthodesia, it's called.
That's the one, Nige. I couldn't pronounce it. And that's another one with chilies. That's the Reaper, because it's in a big pot. That's the big one. That's really beefing up. And there must be 20, 30 flowers on it at the moment. And it's still growing from the bottom, buds at the bottom. I was quite surprised. The one with baskets. The back of my garden. Next one, Mick.
He's a nice one as well, with a yellow tinge on the outside.
Yeah, that's Tumbelina. I ain't got the card now, but I've got the card. It's got like purple and this yellow tinge, and the lemon one's nice as well. I've just been feeding them with the fish crop, and just coming into bud. Look, that was to end of this week, but next week you can see the flowers on the forming coming out.
Yeah.
It's a beaut. I've had that plant for God years, and there's my favourite one of them. My palm tree up the corner. I've had it 20 odd years. Mrs. bought it for my birthday years ago, and it was only little, and it suddenly just went ballistic, and I put it in the ground. So every year I cut them off as they go up and further up. The middle bit is this year's growth. The ones on the outside are last year's growth. So I'll cut last year's growth off next year. So then it keeps producing more. And it goes down to minus 17. That does the cold. Because it gets cold down by us. We have some bad frost. That's my back garden. I built the pergola last year. Me and Bruno built that. So it looks better. And we'll end the one side there where the rhododendron, they've all finished flowering now. There's rhododendrons. Next picture, Mick. And my barbecue, my favourite tool. And I caught a bloody cat in my banana. Look at him. He's in the banana tree, man. I had to shoot him off, man. Quite funny, I saw that. Having a rest. Next one, Mick. And I bought new mail last week as well.
From Lidl?
Yeah, from Lidl. I do a lot of gardening on the weekend. Did some yesterday. And I just thought of buying it. Sit on my back in, man. Next one, Mick.
Good man.
Oh no, I've tried some beer. I've got loads of buds on it, look. Got a beer tree. Loads of buds on it, but no full cans yet. Next one, Mick. And that's me.
Boston, cheers, Paul.
Anytime, Mick.
Well done, Paul.
Cheers, Carl.
Anybody got any questions? Nigel, got your hand up.
Paul, all them bananas you got, how do you overwinter them?
Polytunnel.
What you do you wrap them in straw or Essien or something?
What you do, I did this year. First year, last year, growing them. Chicken wire round the banana plant, depends how big the big one. Chicken wire all the way down, and just put straw lightly down. Slice the top off before the frost comes, because it'll just kill them. Musa Baggio is the hardest banana you can get. Slice the top off, then just fill it with straw, like dough, shove it down too tight, so it can breathe, and put it in a tunnel. And below old, come, what was it, March, it was popping up already. Right. I had to protect it while it was in the tunnel. I had to put some fleece on it. Because the frost got a few leaves on it, and it's in the tunnel.
And the other one, with the chilies, you mentioned, was it Oxfam Big Grow Feed?
Yeah.
Is that a two-part mix or what?
Without looking, Nigel, I can't tell you. It's in the cupboard. I've got Big Grow and I've got Big Bloom, Tiger Bloom.
All right.
Tiger Bloom gives you more blooms, more flowers. I'm using that at the moment. But you can only use that once every fortnight.
Okay, right. Okay.
Because
thank you.
Right, cheers, Nigel.
Paul, you know, you're tall, I call them, what do I call them?
Canoreptia.
No. Tree fern. Do you give that any protection?
You mean palm tree? It's not a tree fern. It's
yeah,
not a tree.
Is it a palm? I'll call them tree ferns. I don't know what the proper name is, but...
Canoreptia, I think it's called. Or, I know, no protection whatsoever.
No protection at all, not even on the top.
No, it goes down to minus 17. It's had snow on it, it's had frost on it.
Really?
And it comes back every year. I grew a palm last year. I grew a phoenix palm last year in my bottom border where that one is. And the frost killed it.
Yeah.
Then it go down to minus 6.
I've killed about 3 tree ferns, Colin. They won't stick to snow.
No.
Is it different then? Because I looked at balls and I thought, that's a tree fern.
The tree fern's called Dicksonia antarctica.
That's the one.
And there's a New Zealand one called Fibrosa, I think it is as well.
So,
yeah.
So I'm wrong. Paul's entirely different plant then.
Yes, yes.
Totally different.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
My friends have got two in their back garden down Weymouth. Different climate down there. And they
Yeah.
must be 25 foot tall. And you have to have ladders to go up there to clean them up.
No.
So, them beauties.
I'll have to have a look at them. I looked
I
at
think-
ferns and they're blinking expensive.
That one I've got my garden is at least, I've googled it. And to buy one to replace it, you're talking 600 quid at least.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I paid 45 quid for it. No idea.
Oh, right.
It's been there a few years.
Scott, did you got your hand up for a question?
Yeah, it's all right. I was going to ask about the overwintering the bananas, but Nigel asked it, so that's no problem.
Good man.
Yeah, I love the bananas. They give you a different texture in the garden, colour, but the big leaves on them. I love them.
Yeah, and you get fruit off them, yeah?
No, yeah. I'm going to wait on that. Different climate.
Yeah.
I've just bought them for the horticulture thing. But
They do look nice.
I have been known, because I'm part of a banana group on Facebook.
Oh,
I've seen that one, Musa Baggio, up the side of an house, touching the suffix, and got fruit on in this country.
Really?
So they do get big.
Yeah,
If
they
you
look
want-
lovely, don't they?
If you want a good one, it's Musa Baggio.
Musa
Is
Badger.
it? It's the hardest one you can get.
Okay.
But if you leave it in the ground, it will come back. But you still got to protect it.
You still got protected, yeah.
Yeah, as long as you're in a frost-free area. Right down here, we're not.
No.
I've got to fill the back of us. We've got a brook. And it does get cold down there.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the moment, all my chilies in the tunnel, the door shut up. Because it's
Really?
cold nights. So
Yeah.
I
That's
just
it.
open the door a little bit during the day. But they're doing well, to be honest.
Yeah, not a bad year for them so far.
No, and the Fox Farm is really good stuff.
I'm going to look into that.
I seen a video on Facebook about it. I thought, that can't be right. This bloke got a little chili plant, another one, and he sprayed the one with normal dose. He sprayed the one with triple the dose. I mean, 2 weeks of difference. I thought, whoa. It's good stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool. I'll try that.
eBay.
eBay. Okay.
Yeah, it's on
Thanks,
eBay.
Paul. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Any more questions for Paul? Paul, Boston, mate.
Thanks,
Cheers,
Paul.
Mick.
Thank you.
Cheers, Noid.
Cheers, Rag.
Oh,
See ya.
Oh, what's this? That's what it is. Right, Paul, you got your lucky flip-flops on?
Yeah.
Let's get going. And take him off. Next one. Jim B. Right, that's them two jobbed. Right, strawberry raised bed on the plot. Getting loads off it, these now. Obviously protected because I'm got netting over, as we can see. Just a photo from t'other end. But if you've got straw underneath them, then it'll keep them nice and clean, hopefully. In between the hoops, I've got a tent peg holding nets down. So I'll pull them out. Pull the nets up at the side, and on the top, where I've got a tape. It's a black electrical tape from Wilco. That's just holding the cane onto me water piping. Then I've got a bit of wire, thick wire, as you can see there, holding the net in place, and then it's just holding up, so that goes into there and holds the net up, as you can see there. Then I'll move on to the next one. So from one side, in fact, I can reach the other side as well. If these were bigger plants, then obviously I'd have to do half of it and then go around the other side. But because I can get through them anyway, you know, I can get us everything, just opening the one side up. And there's two lots in here. The first lot, what's about for a while, I ain't got a clue what them are. But colossal, I bought them about 2 years ago. But there's corkers. And if there are any which I've got damage in, earwigs, anything like that, I just blow the rubbish out and then eat it. Bit of dirt ain't gonna do you no harm. It did me no harm when I was a kid. But you can see the difference between the colossal. But although they are a large size, they've still got a good taste. So first thing I'm going to do, because I've got a glut of them, you can only eat so many. I'm going to make some jam. And if you can read that there, you're a better bloke than Gunga Din. Because I can't read it and I know where it's come from. This was either last year or 2 years ago. We had a shortage of sugar because everybody was making bloody cakes and jams and we got none. And Jeffrey, being a good egg, he sent me some sugar over from Belgium, so I'm going to use it. Whatever weight of fruit you have, you need identical weight in sugar. Near enough 1 kilo or whatever you've got anyway. But I showed fruit somewhere, I think it was Womban, my jam, and I come second. The woman who won, it says I win everywhere, and told me what I did. Exactly the same weight, sugar to fruit, whatever fruit I'm using, and you don't go over 1 kilo in weight. You don't do a good dollop. If you've got loads, you don't do 5 jars at a time. You just do one at a time. So that's what I do. Jam jars ready in hot water, meaning the jars are nice and warm. The hot jam is not going into a cold jar. Nice and clean, obviously. She gave me this recipe as well. Just start off with the fruit, stirring all the time you've got the heat on, obviously, because you want those in a mush. If they are big lumps, which mine are, help them out by smashing them up. When you do get it to the boil, you've got to warm your sugar. And for me, the easiest way is microwave. So that's done in there. As soon as that boils up, the sugar goes in. Don't forget stirring all the time. Now, obviously, that has got to come to the boil again. When it does, it is rapid boil for 3 minutes. Continual stirring. And that is it. I'll pour it into a jug. It's easy to pour out into the jars when you're finished. But I also go back on that one. I want the fruit more so than the juice. So I put it in my colander. So the juice runs out the bottom. I then fill the jar with the fruit. And if I've got a top up, then I'll put some juice in. And then, because I'm going to exhibit it, this has got to be nice and clean. I don't want the judge taking the lid off and there's all markings around the outside. So if there's any marks, don't forget bullshit baffles brains. Try and baffle him and all, because he's going to look for points to down mark you. For me wines, other pickling stuff I do, I've got loads of labels, tyres and hats, whatever. So I get them out. And a judge likes to see a nice little lid on the inside as well. Baffle him. Put one of them on. Bung your lid on straight away, let that cool down overnight. And I'll get my labels out. That's what he's going to do next day, and that's a test you're going to do. Turn him upside down, and he should be solid as a ferret. If he isn't, you're going to get down pointed when the judge does it. And as you can see that one, it is full of fruit. Unlike that one there in the background, that was me leftovers. You can see all the fruit has gone to the top and the juice has gone to the bottom. Meaning if I show that, he's going to come nowhere. This one is going to come somewhere because there's fruit all the way down. Strawberry jam, put him on, stick him on, put a hat on him, impress the judge even more. That's the other one, you can see that better now. There's fruit on top, and then you just got the juice on the bottom. If I'd have got more fruit, then obviously I'd have filled that up with fruit as well. I'm still going to eat him. Right, next speaker.
Don't you test, Mick?
It's Colin
Don't you
Minute.
test for setting?
No,
Don't you test for setting before you? No, yeah.
no.
Oh.
3 minutes. It's worked every time for me.
Ah,
Rapid boil, 3 minutes.
blimey. I did some dams, and 2 years ago I couldn't get it to set to save my life.
Oh,
I don't know. Try again this year.
but you have done jams before and I've said same method.
I've done yes. Same method, cherry and strawberry, etc. But the damson, oh blimey, it was boiling for 15-20 minutes. As mother-in-law said, I might have overdone it, but I don't know.
Going to say that.
Get him soon.
Colin, you had to use preserving sugar with strawberries because it's a soft fruit and it sets better then.
Preserving, oh right.
It's a special, it's a sugar that you buy. That's what they say anyway. Not whether that's
Okay.
true or not.
I use what do you use? Not oh dear, castor sugar.
Yeah, they do. They actually do a preserving sugar because I made chili jam the year before last, and I couldn't get it set, and that was because I hadn't used preserving sugar. So I had like chili sauce really, as opposed to chili jam.
Oh.
Okay, I'll make a note of that.
It's solid.
Yeah, it's got to be jam sugar to start off with.
Yeah.
Preserving sugar. I'll make a note of that. I'll look that up after the programme.
Get it on Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you make something like a damson jam, that's that just sets anyway. You can get away with Tate and Lyle sugar, made pounds of it with that, and it's no problem. It'll set. But the trouble with strawberries is it's a soft fruit, and it doesn't always set well, you know.
Yeah. Tesco got jam sugar in now.
Yeah. Have they? Oh.
Yeah.
Let's get some.
Oh, cheers for that, thanks.
Oh, Dave, you all ready, mate?
Yeah,
Dave,
okay,
good
buddy.
week?
Yeah,
Good
can you hear me, mate?
Good man. Cheers, Dave. All yours, mate.
It's just a few pictures of my plot at the present moment in time. These are my onions growing in the tunnel. They've done quite well up to now because we've had a lot of heat, and it's been very hard to keep the tunnel cool. So it's been hard work. Next to me. These are my tomatoes growing in the tunnel. I have got there's 24 tomato plants I've got in there, and I've got Kalina, Meccano and Shirley down the left-hand side, and down the right-hand side I've Cavendish, Apiro, and there's a cherry I'm growing, which a friend of mine got off an allotment holder who crossed, no idea what he crossed with. He come from Manchester on allotments. He's probably dead now because about 20 years ago. And Jeff Butterworth kept this cherry going. There's no name to it. And he gave me some seeds, and I'm trying them this year. And what I saw of it is they went down like grapes. They're fantastic. The other one, the Cavendish, which is far into the tunnel, that one was a tomato grown in the 1950s, which at the time was a cracking tomato. So I do like to play about and take some old varieties and see what they turn out like. Okay, mate. I just harvested me potatoes. All my new potatoes now are out. These are rocket, which I do enjoy growing. I think they're a lovely taste, and they take about 10 to 11 weeks from planting out to harvesting them. Right, mate. That's my runner beans, what I've just not long since planted out. The reason why I've had to net round is when it was very dry, I kept seeing these, well, I thought they were prints or something, or a bit deep, like little dishes. And it was sparrows coming out of my hedge I've got at the side and having a dust bath. And they're making a right mess with it. So I had to net round them just to get hold and get them going. These are moonlight, which I do like growing these, but I just grow one side of a row, and on the other side of the netting, on the right-hand side, I have a row of shallots in there, which I've just taken out. Right, mate. This is my greens I'm growing under cover, which most of us have to do that now because of aphids and whitefly and everything else. On the left-hand side are my sprouts. I've got two sets of sprouts in there, which is Brodie and Nelson. The middle, I've got Calabrese, which is Marathon. And then the next row is half is, and the other half is, I forgot the name of it now. I walked it down somewhere. I forgot what it's called. Oh, it's Cordisa. That's it. That's half a row Cordisa. On the right-hand side, that's my quick cabbage, which is a point called the pointed one. Right, mate. I do grow, I've said before, I do like to grow dahlias. I've just a row in a 12 there. And that is half a row of my new potatoes, what I've taken out, but they're all out now. And that area now, I'm good to grow, which I've got plants ready to go in. And I'm putting a row of celeriac in there. Right, mate. That's a TP, which I like to grow me climbing French beans up, and they're called Cobra. Takes 14 canes round, and I leave it open, as you can see, so I'll get inside the TP to pick the beans out from there. Right, mate. Sweet pea, I've said I like growing sweet pea. I always grow a full row every year, and I think they're nice. They look well on the allotment, which I like to add a bit of colour as well to the allotment, and they're good cut flowers as well. Right, mate. That's the rest of my potatoes I've got out. I've got a row of Desiree and a row of Maris Piper together, which is my main crop. Then I've two rows of Esteban and Marfona. And like the other one was the Airwood's rocket, which I've taken out. Right, mate. That's again my potatoes, and in front I grow my parsnip. I used to grow them all in the garden, but I found it's a lot easier with it. You know, like quarter barrels cut down, and I grow my parsnip in there, and it doesn't affect any work I want to do on the allotment without it when I keep them there. They're called Sabre. Right, mate. Again, that's my greens. Picture my greens under the netting. Right, mate. That's the strawberry bench I made. The strawberries I've got in there are called Florence, they're a little bit later, but they're upright, really upright, and the fruits is higher up. And I like working like that because it's at waist high. I've just had to drop the netting down actually today, as you can see what's tied up because of the birds. Right, mate. Again, that's inside the tunnel with my tomato plants. I say I like to grow a few marigolds. I know one or two do. It's just for aphids and whitefly and whatnot. Right, mate. That's my carrot bed. I grow, so I've got 70 carrots growing in there. It's not a great picture because it's took through the environment edge, but they're sweet candle. I sold them on the 12th of April when I sold them. Right, mate. That's a double rower gladioli. Probably not as far as that as what makes sour, but I do like growing them. I'd have another 2 rows elsewhere on the plot. Right, mate. Then my leeks, I've 3 rows of leeks in, and they're a variety called Warwick. I grew them last year, they were cracking leeks, so I've grown them again this year. Right, mate. Again, that's the carrot bed, a different view, but I say it's not great photograph because it was stuck through the wire mesh. Right, mate. Again, that's just a picture of onions inside the tunnel. They were sown in December and planted out in April. These are some onions that are going under the netting. I've tried this year. There's some of them. Probably some of you have heard of it. The oaky onion. I don't really heard of it. Well, that dates back to the 1870s, and it was a head gardener to Lord Suffield, who was an estate in Norfolk, who bred that onion, and it became well known throughout Eastern and the Midland counties, and there were many prizes at that time in the late 1800s. But around 1880, a resident from the village of Solham came, which is in Cambridgeshire. He came to the Nottingham Goose Fair, and he brought back a supply of the onions, and he seeded them. And since that time, they've been grown down at Solham, and it produces a bulb of about £2. And the beauty of it is it'll keep up to 9 to 10 months. And I managed to get some seeds from J.W. Boyce, which is in Solham, and I thought I'd give them a go this year. Like I say, I like playing about with different things. The others in there is a few Isabel Rose. I don't know whether anybody else has grown them, but they're a nice onion. And the rings inside, you end up with a white ring, then a pink ring, then a white ring, and a pink ring of the onion. I think they're cracking onion now. And 1 or 2 bento. Right, mate. Again, that's the other side of the tunnel with some exhibition onions. I don't know what size they are because I never start measuring up till about middle of July. Right, mate. These were some onions I grew last year. I had some nice sets, and I put 4 down for seed. Right, mate. Right. These are the seed heads. What's been put down, and they're making a good size. In fact, they're the biggest I've grown as a spike from baby. I thought I'd have to take a pane out of greenhouse. It's up to about 6 foot. That. Right, mate. And they're throwing some good heads. Right, mate. As you see, they're not bad at all. So I'm very pleased with them this year. So hopefully get some seed off them for next year. Right, mate. I think that's it, isn't it? I think that's a good trade and all. I'd love to trade. Right, mate. Thank you.
Boston, cheers, Dave.
David, can I ask, what was the name of that onion you said that went back to the 1870s?
The oaky onion.
Sorry?
I think I pronounced it oak. It's Oakey. And it dates back to the 1870s. But I think the only place I found is this oyster seeds, which is down in Solham.
Yeah.
Who provide the seed, and I'll say I like playing about. They look well at present.
Yeah, I
so I'm
do.
quite
I
pleased
like
with them.
doing different things. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Nigel.
Dave, couple of quick questions. First of all, how big is your tunnel?
It's 22 foot long, by 18, I think. I think that's where it is.
It looks bigger than that. The other thing is your potatoes. It says you're growing them Marfana. That's part of the Sarpo, the blight-resistant range, are you?
Pardon?
The potato was Marfana, which is
one of them grow, yeah.
part of the Sarpo range, the blight-resistant.
I'm not quite certain about the reason why I've grown it. We bought some last year, my phone, and they're a good potato. You can match them, chip and do what you want with them. So I thought I'd grow a few of them this year.
There's a range, Sarpo. The common one is Sarpo Mira, and there's another one.
Right.
Kilfee, but that one, they all belong to the family and then blight resistant.
Oh, good.
I mean, we've had blight a few times on our site. I grow the Sarpo Mira.
Right.
It does affect the foliage a little bit, but the potatoes don't get touched at all. They're really good peppers, yeah.
Oh, well, that's good to know, that is.
I've had some of my Sarpo Mira main crops in the ground 11 months, and the slugs don't bother with them either.
All right. Yeah. Sounds a good potato.
Yeah.
David, are you happy growing your leeks outside without any cover? I noticed they didn't seem to be under cover.
Well, I grew them last year outside, and I had they did very, very well. So I'm risking it again this year. If I do have problems, then they'll be under cover.
Yeah.
I'll see how they go on this year, but last year they did very well.
Right.
So hopefully, keep fingers crossed. The hardest part of our allotment is we've no water. All there's water we have to collect ourselves through the winter, and it's very hard at times. I envy people on allotments who's got water laid on. They're very lucky people, because our allotment we've none. So sometimes it's very hard work when you're trying to keep a tunnel going and whatever with water. It is hard work, but you get through.
No.
Nick, got your hand up, mate.
Yeah, the quality onions you've got in buckets, I do the same, similar, although I've lost a few this year to seed. But so what strain do you run? Three questions. What strain? When do you start them? And what soil do you use? And do you use any fertilizer? So 4 questions. I apologise.
For what? For grubby onions here?
No, so when do you set away your quality?
December. I sold my seeds December 15.
Okay, and what variety are they?
The original. They were from Pete Holden, but like I say, they were Gerald Treewick's original strain.
Peter Holden. I'm growing them as well.
Yeah, but he got his strain off Gerald Treewick originally years ago, and it's now called his own strain. But I know the last time he won at Harrogate, he did put down his Gerald Treewick strain. So I keep that going.
And what sort of circumference would you be hoping for with those?
I'm quite happy if I can get to 20 inch. I'm quite happy, because usually for quality onions, they're looking around about 20 inch for size, which gets your maximum points for size. But end of the day, it's not always the size; it's the quality of the onion.
Yeah, uniformity and that.
Yeah, it's not just the size.
And I use Johnny Inn's number 2 or 3 or M3. And a little bit of bloodfish and bone normally. Do you feed anything through the season after that?
Usually, usually it's the first time this year I've actually grown in 30-litre tubs. What they did now, I usually grow mine in the bed. So when I prepare the bed, I never feed after that, just water. Now the in tubs, all I've used is water. But if I do decide, and I think they need a feed, I shall just use a fully balanced feed. I shan't, or I'd weigh solely on less nitrogen. I wouldn't feed a lot of, no nitrogen, but probably it'd be a complete feed, fully balanced feed.
Thank you.
Any more questions for Dave? Dave, Boston, mate.
Right, mate. Thanks very much.
Good man. Right down the. This was going to be Monday or Tuesday this week. The good deed for the day. I saw this chap in the water, but couldn't get out, so I helped him out. Had a prezi off Colin during the week. He's a good lad.
Free to collect off Facebook.
Good man.
Message.
He's a good lad. Right, this is noon, as you can see. The sun's out and there's a shadow. So the sun is kept off these all day long when the sun is out. But as I mentioned before, I've got air movement. Right, if you get a nice sunny day and you have got the time, i.e. you're at home, then water down the pathway of the greenhouse and the tunnels. And if you water if you got a bedding on like I have with straw, I don't do it during the day if the sun's on. But if you can get away with it when you have got the time, just water the straw as well, but not on the plants for obvious reasons. Right, run out of rainwater again. This is a weekly event now. Well, except for this week because of the weather. Right, this is one delphinium, and I'm getting different colours off one plant. Weird. This is one of the first ones I had. Love them. This was before the rain splattered them. But it's a Boston flower. I've tried to get a photo of the flower itself, but they come out blurred. The camera's crap. Or my phone's crap. That's the only one on the other side. He's just started to flower now. And that is the light blue one, the same in there, where he's a dark blue. But both got the white in us. But I love them. And we're getting a nice bit of mixed colour now all the way up the garden. That's from here, them are all opening up. I think there's only two small ones that are coming to flower. But getting a good bit of colour. And that rain we've just had, that should do everything good. Same as the bloody weeds on the plot. But everybody's in the same boat. But they did need the rain. Everything was up the garden. Right, bottom half of my plot. Full plot down to the tunnel, then half a plot. Outside grape, he's doing well. He's got more grapes on than he's had for a few years. As I mentioned before, with my fruit this year, it's going to be brilliant. And me black currant, I'm still trailing him to grow up instead of out. So I can pick from waist height, well most of it anyway. Obviously I've got to get down here to pick from underneath. But I'm still trailing him up. And there's my late blackberry. Early blackberry is in here. Wood chip is starting to deliver again. His mate who comes out with him, Tony from Abercut Allotments down Stourbridge. He's usually his sidekick because it takes two of them. If you can just see it in there, there's like a little mini skip in there. He's on runners, meaning it takes two of them normally, but he's a good lad. He has to get rid of it, and he needs to get rid of it so he can use the van. But he has to do it slowly, get it to that end, and there's blocks on the end so he don't go straight out, and he just tips that up and empties it. I think there's got to be a door on that end where he just opens up and flaps it. But luckily I caught him down our allotments. This was this week, and he said there's still hops there from last week, meaning people are using it. He says, am I wasting my time bringing him, and I have to talk him into it, saying, now bring him, we need him. So I put a pizza on our website, Colgate Gardening Club, and Abbey Road Allotments, just to tell people to use it, otherwise we're going to lose him. We get it free, we ain't going to pay for it, and I'll just get him a key and he delivers for us. So I hope our lot will start using it. It is a good brew. And my rabbit mutt man, he drops off 3 lots a week. But everybody's clicking on now because you can use that straight away. There's no strength in the rabbit book. and it is a good top dressing. Plus the bonus, you got the rabbit bucket. Right, the grapevine in the tunnel on the plot is still going away nicely. You get these on runners, the little arms, they just hang on. As you can see there, he's not himself. You can't, once you have tied them up, you can cut these off because you've done the job of that, but I'll leave them on anyway. But these are putting a bit of meat on now. He's about 1.5 foot away from the end, so he's nearly reached the end of the tunnel. And if you can remember earlier on, last year I cut him right back up the other end of the tunnel. So he's doing well. Right, first time I've had onions go to seed, onion sets go to seed for yonks. Meaning it's our loopy bloody weather. They ain't got a clue what's going on. There's a few on site where they've done the overwintering sets and they've got away with it. None of them have gone to seed. Oh, Colin, who's our next speaker? He's a good looking bugger, isn't he? Colin, all yours, mate.
All right, mate. Just a few photos of updates. You remember I spoke to Jeffrey regarding these flowers in the basket, and I was going to keep them to see how long they lasted. These are violas. Well, I need the basket, so what I've decided to do is take the clump out, and I've actually planted it in a little corner, which you'll see on the next photo. There, I'm just digging that out, put the contents of that in a nice little corner out the way. That was about a week ago, so what I've done, I watered it in well, and what I intend to do now is actually take the shears to it and give it a haircut and just see if it comes back into flower before the autumn, and then hopefully if it gets established, I'm hoping it will survive and grow next year. So I'll keep it updated on that one. That's it. Nice, quiet little corner just on the edge of the lawn where nothing grows. There's my leeks. Decided to plant my leeks out. Good root system. Can't remember the name of them now because I've lost my notes. But anyway, we just dib the hole. I've just got, you'll see a rectangular path there where I've got a cage, so I'll just get 5 rows. I'll go all along there, just split the leeks up and just drop them in the hole. Those holes are about 5 or 6 inches deep, dibbed in. And then I'll just separate the leeks and just trim the roots off, trim the tops off, just drop a leek in each hole, backfill with water, then put the cover on, and basically I'll leave them on their own, like, till harvest almost. Might do occasional weed, but I normally get a reasonable crop out of that. Next one, Mick, you'll see. There's the cover. I've actually finished planting out. You can just see it's a bad photo, but that's the cover. And there's enough leeks there to keep us going if they get harvested. You see in the background, there's my potatoes. These first 3 rows are in the ground. The row against the fence, I'm following Nigel's instruction, growing them in pots. One thing I'm not too keen about, Nigel, is having to water them because they're a bit far away from I have to drag the hose pipe round to make sure they're watered, but they're looking very healthy, so I'm looking forward to a good crop of them.
Can I just say something that jump in there, Colin?
Yeah.
If you get yourself a bit of 1.5 inch waste pipe,
yeah,
about 3 foot long, put that in the potato, then put your hose pipe in the opposite end. You don't wet all the foliage, then it waters it straight to the root of the plant.
go down right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's. I have to go down, drag the hose pipe right over. Actually, they're in the wrong position for watering, in retrospect. So, if I get a good crop, I'll grow them in a different position next year. But they're certainly looking nice and healthy, all of them. You can see the dark green, can't you?
Yeah.
Of the foliage as opposed to the front 3 rows. I'll put a good dollop of muck in the bottom of the tub as per your instruction. So the crop fails, mate. You've got to bring the chips around. Right, you remember I was umming and ahhing about whether to lift my shallots before the rain was forecast or not.
Yeah.
So what I did was I decided to lift the one bed completely before it rained. So I've got 2 barrel loads out, and I've left the others. The other 3 rows in the onion bed are still in. So I'll have to look at them, and they've had the benefit of the rain. But these ones are dried. Oh, that's a general picture of the patio coming into life now. Everything's slow, but it's starting to flower now. That's a mixture of baskets on the wall, pots, fuchsias, etc. I've still got some more to plant up actually, but it makes a nice show. But, and there's my onions laid out up in the chicken shed, what used to be the chicken shed. It's undercover, but it's the sides are open, so I'll get a nice airflow and dry them out nicely. And every 2 or 3 days, I'll just go and sort of rummage them around, make sure the ones on the bottom come to the top light, so that they get dried out nicely. But there's some nice size ones there. I measured one yesterday or today. It's just over 6 inches round, so that's reasonable.
That's on the end of this one.
Hey?
He's on the end of this, yeah.
Yeah. There's some of the larger ones I've started to segregate. I don't know why, because there's no showers this year, but I'll perhaps use the bigger ones for stock for next year. Right, this is a nice surprise. I can't remember what this plant is. I think it's some sort of bottle brush, because these purple brush flowers is just coming over. So what I did, I got the shears to clear all this, and if you see the cane structure at the back, that was where I planted a hardy fuchsia last year called Lady Boothby, which was the only fuchsia that effectively, some say it's a climber, but you actually have to tie it in. And we thought we'd lost it. No good, all dead wood, nothing. Anyway, I started clearing this out, and I found some shoots coming up. So it has actually survived. And today it's about 18 inches high, so I'm pleased about that. I'll take a photo. It should reach the height of the shed. I don't know, I think there might be another. There, you can see the growth there, just on the left there. Just, yeah. So please, that's a nice fuchsia to look forward to. There you go. You can see the growth coming. Look, yeah. So that was really, really late coming. I thought we'd lost it, and because you can see all the dead stalks around the cane, but it's come up from the bottom, so I'm pleased about that. That's just another general view of everything looking really. The rain's picked everything up now. It's making things sparkle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. These are just general photos.
Good sized garden.
It is, yeah. It's nice. There's a picture of my basket. It's not very good. nice yellow rose there. And yeah, I tend to plant. I've tried to plant the ground up. I don't like to see bare earth, so where there's a patch, I just like to bung something in, so so that it just covers everything. Still got a long way to go, but I'll keep propagating plants and buying plants and just see what happens. Some successful. If it don't work, you hike it out.
Yeah.
That comes back. If somebody can tell me what that is called, I'll be grateful, because it comes back every year. It's a tiny, tiny star-like flower, and it grows. It grows from the base like that every year, and it's absolutely sparkles, and it just sits in front of the what's the name of that tree? The I don't know, the red tree on the left, and it just contrasts nicely with that. But I've got no idea what it's called at all. But it's definitely a star, and it lasts 4 weeks. Anybody know? No.
They might come in at the end.
Yeah.
I think it's something like ornithogalum or something. It's called. I'll look it up and give the name of it.
All right, mate. Yeah.
I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, mate. Yeah. There's some pinks at the bottom, some campanulas, and some other stuff that I've forgotten. I'm not very good at names.
And me. Don't worry about it.
I just can't. I know what they are eventually, but I just can't think of them immediately.
Canterbury bells.
Sorry? Canterbury
bells.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There, that's
Your mate.
Is Steve Chambers on? No, he's not on tonight. That's where my fox would live.
It was quiet.
Yeah. Well, he's done me a favour, I think, because the fox and 3 cubs have been living there for quite some time now, and they started doing some damage. And Steve mentioned, he says, put some Jay's fluid down. Right, so I've every day for 6 days, I've put 10 litres of Jay's fluid down that hole. And last night, they weren't there. I put 4 or 5 sticks leaning against the shed last night, and they're still there now. So hopefully, the Jay's fluid has persuaded them to move on. But I'll check again tonight and see.
It was me who mentioned Jay's fluid, Cole.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Right.
Steve was a shotgun man, wasn't
he? Oh dear. Where is it tonight? Oh, and this one, I don't know if you can see it. This is some sort of, I don't know whether it's a weed. Jane thinks it's a weed. I think it might be something else. Does anyone know? But there's
I've pulled them up before as a weed.
You pulled them up?
Yeah.
Right.
Weed, Colin.
It's a weed. Get them out.
Yeah. Get them out.
Okay. Right. I've got plenty of them. Oh, that's my bench project that I've mentioned before. But what I have bought, I haven't done a picture of it, but I picked up 10 slats, 10 used slats, hardwood slats, for 12 quid off Facebook. So I will be replacing these. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I will replace those with hardwood. So that's my winter project. So that's going to make a nice bench for next year. So with new slats, and then I shall paint these patterned inserts here. I'm going to Nazis. Normally I think there was wooden inserts in there. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put coloured, different coloured stones in each segment, red, yellow, and orange, so that it's, if you know what I mean, sort of, so that it makes it look nice, and then give it a good coat of oil, and it should be nice. We'll see. I think that's my winter project. Got to get it in the garage. And there's me 6 inches, my shallots. It's not one of the biggest, but that's a good size, I think.
It is art.
Yeah. There's some nice shallots amongst there. And I think they're hated de Noir or aristocrat, or a combination of the two.
Hated de Noir.
Yeah. There's
English strain, believe it or not.
Sorry?
It's an English strain.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Some people say that the two strains are the same, aristocrats and this hative, but they're both show bench varieties, I think, aren't they?
Yeah.
But yeah. So if anybody wants any shallots when they're dried out, just give us a bell and you can have some for next year, because there's far more than we'll ever use there.
Colin.
Hello.
It's Suzanne. How do you get the shallots that big? Do you split them like halfway through? Do you pull some out so that the others grow bigger?
Yeah. When you plant them out and they might divide into 4 or 5 or even 6. And if you see some likely ones, what I do is lay them flat, and then I normally thin out to 3.
Oh right, okay. Because I've just pulled my shallots a few days ago, and they're not very big at all. So, but some of them had quite a lot in the bunch.
Yeah.
So
well,
I was guessing that was why.
Yeah, but your pickings, the ones that you thin out, you can use those for cooking anyway. They'll be, so you're not wasting any. But that's how.
Because my one was the Germor, which is meant to be big anyway. They are big shallots, but they didn't really come out that big because there was too many of them.
Yeah.
So I'll split them next year then.
Oh well, you're welcome to a few of these when they.
I've got loads. They're just not very big.
But they're in a good fertile plot.
Do you feed them through the year as well?
I don't feed them at all. I just feed the soil beforehand. And
so you don't give them like onion fertilizer or anything?
No, nothing. You just water them.
Oh wow.
So
that's what I'm doing wrong then. I'm feeding them.
But that's, my granddad used to say, he says, you don't feed your plants, you feed the soil.
That's true, yeah.
And if your soil's good, then the plants will get everything they want from there. But obviously some secondary feed with various.
Maybe it's just you got greener fingers than me.
Oh, I doubt it. Yeah.
All right, thanks, Colin.
Right.
Suzanne, if a plant's growing like that, a shallot, and the leaves are nice dark green, that tells you it should be a good, strong and healthy plant. If he wants a feed, he'll tell you.
Yeah.
No, he loses colour or something.
I'd worry that once they've lost their colour, that it's going to ruin them.
It's like Dave said, he's feeding in his bed, he's preparing.
Yeah.
It's the same as me. Mostly the only feeds I give are foliar feeds.
Yeah.
I believe in foliar feeding.
Well, it was just onion fertiliser that I gave them, which I did at the beginning when I
start off with, Yeah.
Right, I'll split them next year then. Thanks.
Cheers for that then, Colin.
Cheers.
Okay, people, throw your questions.
Colin.
Hello.
Colin.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
that flower board of yours looks really well established. Are nearly all those perennials?
Yes, yes.
So do you top dress the bed at all during the autumn and winter?
Yeah, we've got the compost that we make, and I'll go around with either compost or horse muck and just put a layer wherever I can get at the base of all the plants, and give it a 2 or 3 inch layer, and just let the worms take it in.
Right.
Almost. Well, there's never enough material to do all the garden like that, you know, but you try and do as much as you can.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'll just
Colin,
send them.
The thing is, can you put your email address in the
I
chat?
will do. I'll just do that, mate. Yeah. Hang on.
Anybody got any more questions for Colin?
Thanks, Colin.
All right, mate. Cheers. Cheers.
No, you must have answered them all.
No, that's fine.
Can you talk? Cheers for that, Colin. Good update, mate.
Oh, can I just tell them?
Yes.
Right. I experienced one of the most disappointing moments of my life on Friday. I was working in the garden, and Jane called me down and said, somebody's delivered you a bottle of whiskey. I said,
what?
Yeah. I'll come down, and there was this lovely package identical to the shape of a bottle of whiskey. I picked it up shaking and opened it up, and inside there was one of these cardboard boxes that looked just like. I opened the box, and it was my fish feed from my prize last week.
That's better than a bottle of whiskey.
Colin.
It'll last longer.
Colin.
Hello?
No drinking, for God's sake. Put it on your chest.
Very disappointing moment.
New growth.
When I got my prize, I was thinking that someone had sent me a pie in the post. This was in a pie box.
Yeah.
Few of you get them.
Cheers,
Colin.
That's it. Cheers.
Good man. Right, look, neem oil. People have mentioned this before, and I looked into this. I was looking for something else, and I come across this again. Now, I do trial and error with a lot of things, and so do they. Because this one now, fungicide, herbicide, insecticide. We know it's an insecticide, but now it's a fungicide as well. Hard mildew, rust. These are from neem seeds. Most things that grow are there for a purpose, whether it's for medical or whatever. And looking into this, you can use this for hundreds of things. You know, I never known it from the seeds before this one. I know they use the leaves as sap and bark and everything. But I've just sent for $1 for this because you get rust. I get that on leeks. Powdery mildew, you get that on quite a few things. Spider mite, that's another little horror for the leek and onion men. So I've just sent for half a litre for £10, free delivery. In fact, that was from Fresh Skin Beauty. So originally, I'm using it for people's skin, but a natural insecticide. So I've just sent for them. Obviously, eBay. Right, I mentioned last week about James Morris getting all me gum about George Eustace, and he sent me this following on from our recent conversation about virtual surgery regarding compost and peat-free alternatives. I've written to George Eustace, that's who I've got a job with, State of the Environment, Food and Rural Affairs on your behalf to ask him to look into this matter further, and we'll be in touch with you again as soon as I receive a response. So at least he's doing something. Well, he's got to now, because I've jobbed him to open our show and come to our presentation night, because he was keen into that. When we finished speaking, he recognised me recognised my name. I said you did a presentation at a gardening club a couple of years ago, Blackheath Garden Society, and as soon as I said that was it. So hopefully he's going to look after me. We've already seen him. Right, this was emptying our trading sheds last week, or a trading shed. The one that's the oldest, as you can see there. Jadu's Guinness and Laura, which is Mark's partner, and he come to buy something, but we got him to help us out and all. He's a good lad. Okay, chop's showing off. Jim was there with his kids and all, and he gave us an hand. Well, the kids enjoyed it as well. We're just about finished. We have to have we haven't got a cup of tea, so we had to have a can of cider. Cheers, boys. And there you can see we've emptied it out. Now these lockers, which was up this side, that's what holds all our bagged up lime, Growmore, vermiculite, and then all the bottle juices, which is Maxicrop, Tom Feed, Armilitox and Jay's Fluid. So we're going to use them again, meaning when the container does come, you can put these outside and then close up, and then that's empty, then ready to go in its new berth. So all the gump out of there has got thrown in there. Obviously this was last Saturday, old 1 till 3, and we started cleaning up about 2. So hopefully everybody had been by then, which there was. Me and Mark then went up top. We got a couple of leaks in because this show equipment is going to go in there. We want no leaks whatsoever. So we was up there sealing because I had that tub from yonks ago, and fortunately when I took the lid off, it came off quite easily, and it was still nice and thick and supple. So we was pasting all the little pieces where we thought it had leaks. So we're doing a good job there. Right, tunneling my greenhouse. I used to have a water butt on there, which used to be gravity fed, obviously for this bed. When I finished with that water butt, these was cut up scaffolding boards. Now them will be ideal for wedges, i.e. for moving our trading gear. This is Craney Town Football Club. That's where our container's going. Me and Mark legged up there. Luckily they got a nice long straight pole on site, so we're going to get this nice and level for when the container comes. The cock up we made, we put one in the middle as well, which we didn't need it, because when the bloke come with the container, he made us get rid of that one. All you need is them 2 there. And here he come, bloody great wagon with our new container up. Obviously rounded up the troops before we got there. Now he should have delivered this on an early morning, 7 o'clock on the morning it was. I thought, come on, Benny. He wanted to come early because he's delivered to a lot of sites before and they've been hectic, meaning cars everywhere, people everywhere. And he says 7 o'clock, so go on then. So I just started to ring the troops up and he rung me back. He was from up north somewhere, Leeds I think. The container, these come new from China with something in them, obviously, and then sending them back empty because they like to send ships back with cargo in. So what they do is flog them once they get here as new, which is good for us in the sense. But he rung us up and he said, oh, the only container I've got free, because their depot, Titan, is down Bristol. And he said the nearest depot is in Brum, and I've just googled your place and you're only around the corner. He says, yeah. He says, this was on just gone dinner time on the Wednesday, I think it was. He says, any chance of delivering in an hour's time? Because I'm going to pick it up now. Instead of me taking it back to Leeds and starting out early to drop it off, he says we can do it now. So quickly I had to round up the lads, and that's when he come on the afternoon. Luckily for all of us. So we had to pick the first container out of the road first. Luckily the bottom day drop out, we was bloody dreading that. We'd have been right in the quagmire if the bottom of the fellow, Gordon Bennett. And he dropped that off and he picked the other one up, the new one, straight away, put it straight over and bunged it down. Good lad. And when we opened the doors, you could still smell the paint. That's how I knew it was. Boston container.
How much, Mick?
$4,000.
Blimey.
The first two, like this one and the other one, which we'd had years, they cost $1,000 each. But that the one had got a dent and one was fire damaged. So we had them cheap then. But that they are, well, it shows how solid they are. Because we're using this again.
Yeah.
It's only the doors that have gone slightly. But he bunged that on straight away. He was ex-forces and all. You could tell. Very good natter after. So he just about got in, luckily, to the entrance to the Craney Town Football Club. But he legged it in there. Driveway's up here. The marquee where we married it is over here. And that's where we've levelled off, obviously. And that's when he's bunged it down. Perfect. And the gaffer in the bar, he's only got the draft beer. He's got Guinness, cider and lager. And I says, because we're having our meetings up here, our gardening meetings. I says, we'll drink that. They want a beer on draft. And I talked him into getting Worthington's cream flow. He's a good lad. He got it in private, so now he just pays for the barrels. And obviously, we had to try it out.
Yeah, it was rusted, but it was
all. Beautiful drink. That'll do our truce. He's looking after us, I'll give him that. Well, we're looking after him. So the new container, luckily Mark was still on holiday. And he come down, get his hand. In fact, he did most of it. He's better than DIY than me. So all the brackets had to go back up again. The little containers, which we ferreted back onto the wall. This was shelving, which was going above here. Price list, members, gump, and all that lot. And we got away with it weather-wise as well. Weather stayed kind. The table collapsed when we dismantled that, and this one was out there, our toilet block, but it got bloody woodworm on the bottom. So we've had to bin that and all. But that's what compost. Once that's gone, we've had it. The only compost we've got now is get it by the ton, by the bulk. I ain't got none yet. Because I know if we get it, who's going to bloody wait out? Muggins. There it is. But I've got rid of him because we do need something sturdy, obviously for the scales. And luckily, Mark is a good egg. He got us a nice sturdy one, and that's the one we're using now. Our schedules came out Saturday as well for the punters who are going to show. If anybody's interested to live local, give me a message and I'll send you a schedule if I'm interested. Nick, hope to see you, mate. You can get these online, Colligate Gardening Club. And that's it, people. Hope you have enjoyed it and learned something.
Boston.
Thank you to the speakers tonight. Without you, I'd be in the So hopefully we've got three next week. 2 new ones, which is always nice to see. Jacko, get your stuff ready for next week, mate. Good man.
What's happened to Jeff? Jeffrey, he hasn't been on for...
He's on next week.
Is he? He hasn't been on for 3 or 4 weeks now, has he?
Well, no, it's only been 2 weeks or something. You have to give him a break, don't you? Because he says by next week his stuff should be in flower like dahlias, stuff like this. You know, he likes to show off his veg. Yeah. He's put a few on Facebook.